In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use NotebookLM. You'll be able to take Word documents, PDFs, videos, different articles from different websites, and more, and compile it all into a research assistant that will let you summarize information, that'll let you brainstorm more information to expand your learning, and even create an AI podcast for you so that you can digest all of this information in the car and on the go. Let's dive right in. You're going to go into this website right up here that I'll leave in the description below. And from here, you can create your new notebook. Think of your notebook as your own personal research hub for a specific topic. You'll have different notebooks for different topics and different genres. This is all about one thing. So on the left, you'll see a button called Add Sources. This is where you're going to add your sources. You're going to add your videos. You're going to add your Excel sheets. You'll add anything that will add to your topic. So for this topic, I want to know all about the lawsuit between Elon Musk and OpenAI. Right? It just ended, but I want to learn what led up to it, what transpired in the lawsuit, and what the fallout will be because Musk lost. I'm going to add documents, and I'm going to add my own research from AI and websites that I found on the internet, and my own notes that I've compiled. I'm going to put it all into this notebook. So what you'll do is you'll click Add Source or Add Sources, and you can certainly even just search up on the web. You can search, if I searched I can search up Musk versus OpenAI and click on search, and it'll give me all of the websites over here that it collected. Now it shows that it has 10 different sources, right? 3 plus 7. I can import them all without looking at them, or I can click on View and select which ones I want to click on and add to my sources as viable resources. If I'm adding something from OpenAI's own website, probably don't want to do that. It's probably a conflict of interest. So like I would add this Wikipedia site, it's probably up to date, it's probably got resources. I can certainly click into this, and if I clicked into this, I can see all of the edits that they made, and maybe I'll add this router's article, right? So I can copy this routers article, Control C, and have this article about the initial contracts and the odds of Musk winning. And now I can add in the link and click insert, and it's going to add it over here. Maybe I want to take this Fireship article and use it in my research as well. I will copy the link. I will come up over here, add sources. I can come over here and add this link. I compiled a bunch of notes myself on this topic, so I can either add it as a source if I wanted to download the PDF, or I can copy what I have. I can put in my notes on lawsuit, click on convert to source, and it's going to add it over here. Now, once I have all my sources, a week, if I come back in a year after OpenAI ends up IPOing with their $1 trillion IPO, and it ends up being a bust because of the bubble, or whatever the reason, I can add more sources and get updated information. But what I can do now is I can group these sources by topic. So it's going to use AI, and it sorted it into legal proceedings and Musk versus OpenAI. And these are all of my things. As you can see, there's a couple things that overlap. This router's article doesn't fit into either one of them. And then if you click on here, it'll tell you that it's an invalid URL. So it might not support it. But what I can do is I can just click on the 3 dots, remove the source, and it's gone. Right? If nothing else, I can copy and paste all this information myself, right? Or write it myself and then copy it back into here if I really wanted to. Now that you have all this information, I can go ahead and just like ChatGPT or Gemini or any of those, I can ask it information about all of the documents and all of the videos in here. So I can ask it to summarize. It actually gives me some things that it already has looked up just based on the information already. Right? The statute of limitations, what are Musk's core arguments, how does OpenAI's restructure impact the broader AI industry, things along those lines. Right? I can click on any one of these, and it will answer it for me, or I can just put in my own prompt over here. It'll show its thinking. The conversation, you can actually change how it responds to you. You can change if it's more concise or if it's more elaborate. And this is what it came up with. And again, if I really like this response, I can come down here, click on Save to Notes, and it's going to generate the note. Again, I can click into it. I can convert it to a source, so it's going to come up over here. I can edit this over here because it's a... Okay. So once you have all of your information, all of your sources, you can ask it whatever questions that you want. And again, you can always add more sources. So just like the router's website, it seems like any website that wants you to pay for their stuff, it will come up as an error. So you do have to find resources that are free to use so that NotebookLM can actually use them as a source. So if they are paid, unfortunately, it won't work for this. Of course, what you could do is if you have the resource for it, if you paid for New York Times or routers or whatever, you could always come in here, copy and paste the article and click on paste, right? This would be the article itself that I am not paying for. This could be the article itself, and then you can always convert this to a source and use it that way. Once you are all done with your sources for now, you have a couple of options. You can make a video overview, so instead of you just reading it, let's say I wanted an explainer video that has the watercolor look. I can also change the angle that I want this to. I can also change the point of view of the narrator, right? Let's do a legal analysis angle. I can click on generate and it will do that for me. While that's loading, let's go into a mind map. So now I can take a look at the general broad category of the lawsuit and break it down into its outcomes. So if I click on the outcomes, I can see all the stuff to do with the outcomes of this lawsuit, what will happen with OpenAI, what will happen with Elon Musk, what will happen in Sam Altman in general, what will happen with Sam Altman, etc. I can come back in here and I can judge the content that it gave me so it can update its AI itself. And of course, I can save this as a note, right? And it saves it right here. I can come back into the mind map. It's going to start from scratch. And now I can look at the industry impact of this all. And if I click the arrow, I can get even more specific information. I was just talking about the $1 trillion IPO. So let's see what happens with that, right? The lawsuit is going to affect AI as an industry, but it's also going to affect OpenAI's IPO. So let's see what happens because Musk lost. It's going to search the web, of course, and give me all this information. And the coolest part is that when I click on any of these sources, it will show me which article that it came from, right? It came from the notes that I gave it, right? My notes on the lawsuit. That was number 3. I can click on number 1, which was one of the articles that I gave it, right? So it'll give me the resources for each point that it made to make sure that it's actually true based on the information you give it. So if you give it false information, it's obviously going to think it's false. So that is your mind map to research a little more into your topic and do more of a deep dive. And of course, you can go from there, add more sources, and it'll get more intricate and more in depth, right? You can click on reports. I actually made a video on NotebookLM probably 2 years ago at this point, back when I had some hair over here. And it really just had like the audio overview. Most of this other stuff, I don't think, was there at all. So they've expanded this tremendously. That's why I'm coming back to it. So my flashcards just came up. Video and slide deck are still taking a little bit. So if I click on flashcards, again, it's going to tell me that it's based on 6 sources. So it's not getting outside information. That way it's all the information that you put into it. You can always go to ChatGPT or Gemini or Google search more things and add this into it, but it's not taking outside information. It's only on what you give it. So it will ask me questions, right? Who is the presiding U.S. District Judge in the Northern District of California for the case? Right? I can guess it's Roosevelt. Let's see it. Ooh, so close. Right? And I can say that I got it wrong, and it'll add it to the pile, right? What specific legal defense led to the dismissal? It took way too long. Reached the statute of limitations. And I can click back and forth so I can do this. If I click on explain, it'll come up with the chat and it'll actually explain the details of how it found the information. It's defining the dismissal, analyzing the timing. So if I want any extra information about how it got this answer, or maybe I forgot where it came from, right, it'll tell me in the lawsuit there's a 3-year legal window with his timeline of Musk's knowledge, right, and what he knew and when he knew it. So I will say that I got that right. And I can keep going with those flashcards. And it created 60 of them pretty fast. Downloaded 2 hours. Aha! I am so smart. Samart, S-M-A-R-T. And it's still generating the slide deck of the video. So this will take a while, but again, it is free, so can't really complain too much. And once you cited all those flashcards, you can definitely go back into the quiz or make something else while you're doing it. You can certainly add more resources. The issue with adding more resources now is that you might have to redo the video, right, or the audio overview, which takes a little bit. It did, as I was speaking, literally a minute ago, create the slide deck. So let's take a look at the slide deck that it created, again, based on the 6 sources. So if you're adding more sources, you might have to update your slide deck. And you can revise it here. So if any of this information is wrong, you can tell it to change it, which is kind of cool. But let's just see what it created at this point. An analytical breakdown of the trial of the century. You can use your arrow keys to move through it. It's a 3-week trial that ended in 2 hours. Plaintiff versus the defendant, all this stuff, right? And again, if any of this is wrong, you can tell it what's wrong. Or if you added slides to this, you can do that as well. You can download it, right, so that you can use it in the future. And all of this is based on what I gave it. It's not getting any outside information, which is a good and bad thing, right? If you don't have enough information added to it, or if all of your information is biased and one-sided, you might not get the whole picture of something. But for a topic like you are studying for a test, or you have a report where you're not really researching things, you're just compiling information, this might be a better option for you. If I'm studying for a test in college, or if I have a business report. So it really just depends on what you want to use this for. And now for these two big things, I have the explainer video, and then I'll show you the podcast that I came up with that you can then listen into the car or on the go. So this is the 8.5-minute explainer video, which is why it probably took about 15 minutes to create. You can play it in 2 times speed if you wanted to, make it full screen, and this is what it did.
Welcome to the explainer. Today, we're unpacking literally the tech trial of the century. We're talking about a massive courtroom showdown after a grueling 3-week trial in a federal courthouse in Oakland, a trial that aired out mountains of private texts, emails, and explosive testimony marching toward a valuation of nearly $1 trillion. Awesomeness. Without specific metrics, it's just a concept that is far too murky to ever enforce in a courtroom. That brings us to section.
So what this did is not only synthesize the information, put it in logical order, separate it into categories, and then make an entire video. Yes, it's basically a slideshow with an AI voice over it, but it did it in about 15 minutes. It's different points in every show. It's different slides every like 30 seconds or every point. Right? Things are spelled correct.
That foundational promise.
To go along with it. Right? I mean, it's basically a PowerPoint that is matched up to a script, which is actually pretty cool. It does have its logo in the corner. You can, of course, download this. You can share it and copy the link to wherever you want. And then when you come out of it, if you really don't like it, you can delete it. You can rename it to whatever you want as well. So it is very useful just to get the visualization, to get the visual as well as the audio. And then you have the final piece, which is the podcast. So have
imagine,
it here.
right?
It's
You've been waiting all year
22 minutes long, as you can see over here. Again, you can download it, you can share it. And what is cool about all of these that I haven't even shown you is if you click into these, right? You can click on to the audio overview. It'll actually come up with options that you can choose from, right? You can make a deep dive. You can have it be pretty brief. You can change the language. I don't know how many languages is in here, but it is Google, so it seemed about like 30 to 50 if I had to guess. You can tell it to be a little more specific, have a legal perspective. If you're a skeptic of what's going on here, if you're a skeptic of AI, right, a rebuttal against that as an audio. You can come into the slide deck and you can change pretty similar things, right? Presenter slides that are clean and visual, or more detailed slides, which is what it creates. For me, I can change the video settings, right? Kind of the same thing. I can have it be pretty brief. So it was 8.5 minutes. I could make it a little shorter. Right? With the flashcards, I could have changed how many cards there were. This was the standard amount, and it was 60 different cards that it created in about 1.5 minutes. Right? Level of difficulty. So if you really are studying for a test and you're bringing in like psychology questions or biology questions, astronomy, whatever, it can actually quiz you on it, or help you study and then quiz you on it. Right? Again, easy, medium, hard, how many questions are going to be in here. So this really is, I mean, it is a good research and summative tool, but for the most part, what I will be using this for the most part is definitely the research aspect of different things I'm looking up. I am all done with school, but I do love researching. I have gotten very into like the geopolitical conflicts and everything going on in the world, and obviously I'm in the US, so I'm involved with all that. So this is going to be a very helpful tool just to learn and synthesize different information that is going on around me. But obviously, if you're in college, this is kind of perfect. It's a free software that you can use. It's web-based, so you can do it from anywhere. You can quiz yourself. You can help yourself study. You can help it yourself brainstorm. You got to make sure whatever you get out of it is what you put into it. But that is NotebookLM in a nutshell. If you like this video and want to see more, make sure you click over here for more tutorials and more in-depth knowledge about different things, tech-related, website-related, things along those lines. I would love to hear your thoughts on NotebookLM if you've tried it. Let me know in the comments down below how you like it. I'm sure I didn't touch on everything. This is relatively new. Like I said, I used it like 1.5 years, 2 years ago. I'm kind of just coming back to it. But other than that, if you like this kind of content, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Boop.